get defensive. Your wife right now is telling you you hurt her, and she's explaining the pain you caused. It made her cry. It made her hurt. And your reaction, forgive me for kind of just being blunt about it, you're getting defensive. And I understand the need to get defensive because it's hard to absorb that everything in this relationship is your fault, because it's not. But in this particular moment, she doesn't need to understand why you did it. She doesn't need you to prove to her that she's wrong. What she needs in this moment is for you to listen and try and feel the pain she felt with her. Try to be in the moment with her. After she feels like you give a crap because you're sitting there and sitting in the pain with her, then we can apologize and ask if she wants to know your side of the story. Sometimes she won't, and that's okay.
Extra step. Something I've noticed is that a lot of men will hurt the woman that they're with and just say sorry, as if sorry is supposed to fix the problem and or the issue. And of course, it doesn't. All sorry means is that you are acknowledging that you hurt her. You are acknowledging the pain and the suffering that you put her through. Now, there are extra steps that is necessary to take after you apologize and acknowledge the part that you play in the situation in order to hurt her. Because now she wants to talk about it. She wants to work through it. She wants to dissect it. She wants to understand what your thought process was when you made the decisions that you made. And unfortunately, that really doesn't happen. Instead, what happens is, hey, I said sorry, that should be enough. You need to get over it. Followed by, hey, you're being too emotional right now. You shouldn't even be crying. You shouldn't be that upset. It wasn't even that bad of what I did. In reality, women aren't too emotional. They're simply having a natural reaction to the situation. And the thing is that when it comes to expressing emotions and feelings, a lot of men don't do it. So when a woman is crying because she's sad, that's not her overreacting, that's her reacting. And the reason why it's perceived as overreacting is because men don't react the same way women do when they get mad, sad, or upset. Actually, it looks like that a lot of men don't care. They're being nonchalant. They come off cold-hearted. They come off as they're not interested in the situation any longer, and it doesn't bother them the way it bothers their woman. And that causes even more pain to that woman because not only is this man not emotionally invested in his woman being in pain and hurting, but he's not even emotionally invested to work on the situation that he caused. And inevitably, that sorry means nothing down the line as the actions continue and nothing changes. Saying sorry is almost like giving a Band-Aid to someone who just received a gunshot wound and expecting that Band-Aid to cure them and to help them and to heal them. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is if you were man enough to make a decision that could potentially hurt your woman, then be man enough to work through the things with her when she's not okay because of the decision that you decide to make.
I want to listen to this.
Men who don't learn emotional intelligence cause endless suffering to their woman. They make her feel used, unseen, and lonely. When she expresses her emotions, all she wants to know is that he can listen, validate what she's feeling, and he cares enough to respond lovingly. But all he knows is logic, so he sees her emotions as a problem to be fixed, looks for a solution, becomes offended when she doesn't want that, and then gets defensive and self-absorbed.
Men need to learn how to listen. It's been a long time thing. All you have to do is sit there and match their emotions. If they're sad, be sad with them. If they're happy, be happy with them. If they want help, they will.
Oh, it's not that important. Gaslight, minimizing, dismissing. None of that works. Your partner is expressing pain, hurt, disappointment. Your partner's bleeding. And your response to the pain, the disappointment, the feeling, blame them, it's your fault. That's gaslight. You minimize it. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, it's not that important. You minimize it. That's gaslight. Or you do something worse. You dismiss how they feel. That's gaslighting. That's instigating. That's making it bigger than it needs to be. Or another form of gaslighting is projecting. Your partner feels a certain way. And rather than leaning into that, diving into that, and showing empathy and sympathy and care, you project. You project your feelings onto them. Here's gaslight. Your partner's drowning in the pool. You go to the pool. You see they drowning. Well, I'm drowning too. Then you looking in the pool. They drowning. They need help. Yeah, I've been drowning too. And you sit down. You take a seat. And you start spitting all these facts at the pool about how you've been drowning for years and yada, yada, yada. Gaslight, minimizing, dismissing. None of that works. What works is when we hear their heart. What works is when we understand their pain. What works is when we seek to understand before we seek to be understood. That works. Gaslight, minimum.
When she had enough, she decided to separate from him. And on the day they had to get separated and he had to come and move his things out of the house, I remember as children we were wondering what's happening. And we asked my mom, why is daddy leaving? Why does he have to leave? My mom looked at my dad and says, tell them why you have to leave. And do you know, my dad turned around in front of us and tried to paint my mom as the villain. He never told us that he had been unfaithful. He never told us that he had been cheating on her. He turned around and tried to make it look like she was being unreasonable. He had no clue. He was so shocked why he had to leave the home. My mom looked at my father and she didn't say a word. Now, at the time, as children, we did not know what was happening. So we're taking his version. We're listening to his version. But my mom did not say a word. She let him tell us the lies that he had to say. And she just stayed silent. I remember looking at her sitting there and I was so angry. I started screaming at her because I felt like, why aren't you fighting for your marriage? Why aren't you trying to fix this? Why aren't you trying to resolve whatever problems you have? Because I had no clue. And my father looking back, it's so insane how he really stood there and let us scream at her, let us blame her for his actions. And she just stayed silent. Now, it didn't take long for the truth to come out because my grandmother, my aunts, and other family members, they told us. And when we found out, when we heard the extent of the damage and the things that my dad had been doing, I was livid. I remember speaking to one of my aunts and I was saying, why didn't my mom tell us? Why did she keep this to herself? Why didn't she tell us? And my aunt said, she didn't want to turn you against him because she knew in the end he would do that himself. My aunt was right. To this day, my mom has never spoken a negative word about my father to us. Even after everything he has done, she never said a negative word. She never tried to poison our minds towards our father. He did all the damage on his own, by himself. Everything was his own doing. She didn't have to lift a finger. She took all her L's in silence and she just continued to protect us, pray for us, and give us the tools to navigate certain challenges in life. She didn't have to waste her time. She didn't have to waste an ounce of her energy trying to paint him as a villain. In the end, the truth came out. In the end, we saw him for who he was. So this is a message to anyone out there. If you're dealing with a toxic family member, toxic relative, husband, baby father, baby mother, if you're dealing with anyone who is toxic, even a coworker, you don't have to waste your time and energy trying to get people to see them for who they are. In the end, they will reveal themselves.
Ladies, be aware of the men that accuse you of cheating or talking to or entertaining other men. Because I can tell you 110%, this is their own internal guilt projecting upon you and their insecurities because they have been doing that exact same thing. They're talking to other women, so yet they want to make you feel bad. They want to blame you and play like victim when in actuality, they're the ones that's out here cheating. See, when a man starts relatively blaming you for anything, he's already done it himself. See, they don't even be having any proof that you're doing any of these things, and they will never believe that you're not entertaining these other guys until they become one of those other guys that you're not entertaining. You should always prepare for the worst when a man comes to you with accusations that you were talking to or cheating with another man. And then you'll also notice things like he'll try to go through your phone or he'll try to be nitpicky like in your comments or who you follow. But what is going on is that he is insecure. He's the one that is doing all this infidelity, and then he wants you to feel bad for what he is doing. He can't live with that guilt or blame, so yet he has to make you feel bad as well. But y'all stay safe.